Okay guys, so you should have already finished with the chapter 12, Am I Ready, on pages 767 and 768. And now we're ready to go over it. So, remember you can check this with your pencil. Do not tear it out. You don't have to use red pen. You can use it if you want. This is just for you. This will not be turned in. So it's just a review for you to do, so you don't have to check it with red pen. But you can do that if you want to, but do not tear it out. Leave it in your book. Okay, so the directions for the first part say to multiply. So number 1 is 8 times 10. Well, that's a basic fact. We know 8 times 10 is 80. Number 2 says 7 times 1,000. Well, 7 times 1,000 isn't a basic fact, but we can use basic facts and patterns to solve. The basic fact is 7 times 1, which is, I did 7 plus 1. 7 times 1 is 7, and then we take these 1, 2, 3 zeros at the end of our factor and put it at the end of our product. So 7 times 1,000 is 7,000. Number 3, 10 times 3, that's another basic fact. 10 times 3 is 30. Number 4, another problem we can solve using basic facts and patterns. Our basic fact is 4 times 1, that equals 4. We have 1, 2, 3 zeros at the end of our factor, so we're going to put 1, 2, 3 zeros at the end of our product. Put in our comma, 4 times 1,000 is 4,000. Number 5, 10 times 9, that's a basic fact, it equals 90. And then number 6, we have 1,000 times 6, which is another problem we can solve using basic facts and patterns. 1 times 6 is 6. There are 1, 2, 3 zeros at the end of our factors, so we're going to put 1, 2, 3 zeros at the end of our product for 6,000. Okay, now number 7. Ted is comparing his shoe to his mom's shoe. Circle the longer shoe. So this is where we are using our ability to estimate or choose the most reasonable estimate or measurement. And if we look, we can see that they are similar size, but that mom's shoe is just a little bit longer. If you were struggling just by looking, what you could have done is taken your fingers. Now you would have only had to use one hand, but you could have taken your fingers, try to make sure that you keep them the same distance apart, and then move them over to Ted's shoe, which you can see that mom's shoe is shorter than that Ted's shoe is shorter than mom's shoe. You could have also used a ruler or even just a popsicle stick or something that you had laying around that you could mark the length of mom's shoe and then compare it to Ted's shoe. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Okay, so the directions for the next part say write each fraction as a decimal. So, for number 8, we have 2/10. We know that the decimal for 2/10 has a 2 in the tenths place and nothing anywhere else. So 2/10 looks like 0, decimal point 2. Now number 9, 6/10. Well, we know again that 6/10 looks like a decimal with a 6 as the last digit in the tens place and nothing in the ones place. So 6/10 looks like 0, decimal point 6. Number 10 is 9/10. Again, we know it looks the same as the other two, with a 0 in the ones place, followed by a decimal, followed by a 9 in the tenths place. Okay, number 11, 24/100ths. Well, we know we say the name of the last the last digit's place. So that means the last digit has to be in the hundredths place. We know that 24/100ths, there are no wholes, so there's a 0 in the ones place, followed by a decimal point, and then we say the whole number that comes after the decimal, and then we say the name of the last place. So number 12, 16/10, we're going to do it the same way. We know that there are no wholes, so there's a 0 in the ones place. Then we say the whole number, or the entire number, that comes after the decimal point, and then we say the name of the place the last digit is in. So 1600ths looks like 0, decimal point 16. Number 13, 8300ths. Well, again, we know that there are no holes, so there's a 0 in the ones place. Then we say the entire number that comes after the decimal point, and then the name of the place that the last digit is in. So 8300ths looks like 0, decimal point 83. Okay, for the last part on the front page, it says write a decimal for each part of a dollar shown. So that means we need to figure out how much each of these coins is worth, and then we need to add them together, and then put it as a decimal out of 100. So we know a quarter is 25 cents. A nickel is 5 cents. We have another nickel, another nickel, another nickel, and then a penny, which we know is 1 cent. So now if we add all these together, we get 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, which means we have 46 cents. We know that there are 100 total cents in a dollar, which means that this shows 46 out of 100 cents, which looks like 0, decimal point 46, or 46 hundredths. Now number 15, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we have a penny, which is worth 1 cent. And then we have another penny over here, which is also worth 1 cent. And then the rest of them are dimes. The rest of the coins are dimes, which are all worth 10 cents. Okay, so now let's count. Let's start by counting with tens, and then we'll count the pennies. I'm going to make a little mark on each dime as I go so that I know I've already counted it, so I don't accidentally count it again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 91, and 92, which means I have 92 cents out of the 100 cents that there are in a dollar, which means I have 92 hundredths of a dollar, which looks like a 0, decimal point 92. So I've got 92 hundredths of a dollar right here. Okay, go ahead and turn to the back and we will look at the vocabulary. Okay, so on the back, the My Math Words vocabulary page, what you had to do was that you had to define and then provide examples for each review vocabulary word. So first you had to define capacity, and then come up with some examples that show capacity, and then you had to define length and come up with examples that show length. Now remember, capacity and length are not units. They are not units of measurement. They are the type of measurement being done. So you cannot say that cups and capacity are related because they are both a measurement. Because they're not. Capacity is the amount of liquid a container can hold. It is not the unit that you would use to say how much how much liquid a container can hold. You would not say 6 capacities is how much this can hold. That is where you would use the units, which we will use as example, like fluid, ounces, or FLOZ, or cups, which is abbreviated as AC, or pints, which is abbreviated as PT, or quarts, which is abbreviated as QT, or gallons, which are abbreviated as GAL. So remember, capacity is not the unit. You cannot say that capacity and fluid ounces are related because they both are measurements. Capacity is not a measurement. It's the type of measurement. You can't use it to say, oh, that container holds 6 capacities. capacities. No, you have to say 6 cups or 6 pints or whatever. You have to use the unit. They are different. They are not the same thing. These fluid ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons are units of capacity. Okay, now it's the same with length. We know length is the measurement of the distance between 2 points. So length is not the unit that you would use to say, oh, that's 1/3 length. No, you have to use the units, which is what we will use for example. We have inches, which is abbreviated as IN, feet, which is abbreviated as FT, yards, which is abbreviated as YD, and miles, which is, abbreviated as MI. So make sure that whenever you're trying to find your units, you're not saying 6 capacity or 1/3 length or 82 weight instead of pounds or tons. You need to use the unit when you are writing answers. These are just types. These are just units of these types of measurement. Okay, so now we're done with the Am I Ready? Go ahead before you move on to the next lesson. Go ahead and look at the My Vocabulary cards because these are the things we're going to be talking about in this lesson. We're going to continue with measurement and we will be doing conversions, but this time we're going to be working with the metric system, which I will tell you the conversions are a lot quicker. They're it's a little easier to remember and they are quicker to do. And you will find out why when we get to that lesson. Okay, so go ahead, look at those My Vocabulary cards and then move on to the next thing. You don't have any math homework today because we did the Am I Ready?